fermentation, movies and inebriation with films and fermentation, comedy mixed with taste elevation. Films and fermentation with Leo, Kevman, and Mike.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Films with Fermentation. This is episode 198. We are getting really close to that 200th episode spectacular. Tonight, we're revisiting one of our favorite topics. It's part 11 in the series of films that time forgot. And as we did the last time we did this topic, we have a very special friend joining us tonight, somebody whose movie knowledge we really revere, to try to stump us with some more, awesome films from the vault. Once again, this is Films and Fermentation, a movie and alcohol podcast, #1 pop culture podcast, beer podcast, and TV and film podcast on Good Pods. I'm Leo.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Cthulhu Jack.
And that's Cthulhu Jack. Jack is back. He's here to do some more movies with us tonight.
Jack
so normally we're three friends. Tonight we're four friends who like to talk shit about movies while getting shit-faced. In this episode, we dig through the cinematic attic and blow the dust off forgotten flicks, whether they deserve it or not. In part 11 of our Films That Time Forgot series, we're unearthing more lost reels. Well, I did practice this beforehand, I promise. We're unearthing more lost reels, unloved classics, and VHS fossils that time, taste, and good judgment left behind. These are the movies that make you go, wait, that was the thing? It's cinematic archaeology with a buzz, folks. So grab your beverage of choice and prepare to rediscover the...
Oh no! He got booted.
He was on a roll.
What?
He swears to God he practiced.
I'm the one that's usually getting kicked off.
That is true.
I don't know what happened there.
We lost you.
I know.
You're doing too good of a job. Too good of a job.
Yeah, I got a message that popped up that said, "Sorry, try again." I'm like, "What?" I'm the host.
We got beverage of choice. Prepare to rediscover films. And boom, that was gone.
Yep. All right. So, cut. Let's start again. In this episode, I'll fix it later. In this episode, we dig through the cinematic attic and blow the dust off forgotten flicks, whether they deserve it or not. In part 11 of our Films That Time Forgot series, we're unearthing more lost reels, unloved classics, and VHS fossils that time, taste, and good judgment left behind. These are the movies that make you go, wait, that was a thing? It's cinematic archaeology with a buzz, folks. So grab your beverage of choice and prepare to rediscover the films even Blockbuster gave up on. I was trying to say to Jack earlier, if you guys, anybody out there listening, you want to check out a really cool YouTube channel. Also on Rumble, you can check out Cthulhu Jack Presents. Always a good video. And I was excited when you finally came back with a new one because I haven't heard from you in a while, and I was like, oh, Jack is back. This is great. And the one you did first was Deep Rising, which I think is definitely a film that time forgot. Starring Treat Williams and Famke Janssen, a Cthulhu level horror flick from the mid 90s. And I told you in the comments that I was really excited by that because, it's a film that I remember watching. Mm-hmm. And you said in the comments, and I quote, I have another treat coming for you soon, with treat in quotes, meaning Treat Williams.
Ah, yes.
So I was very, very excited when that treat was The Phantom. A movie
because I had forgotten when I was watching it again. I had actually forgotten he was even in it, and then when he showed up, I was like, "Oh, this is even better."
It's a movie I will defend to the grave. I love it for some reason. It's so campy. But I had to admit, when you said that I have another treat coming soon, I was expecting Dead Heat with Treat Williams, Joe Piscopo.
That's funny. That's funny. It's funny. I haven't seen that movie since it came out in the 80s. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you a really quick story. I had worked at a video store back then, and it was the first one of its kind in the area. And it's a tourist area. And I remember one day I'm downstairs and I had seen the movie fairly recently. And who do I look up and is handing me a movie to take out is Treat Williams. And I go, oh my God, you're Treat Williams. I just saw you in Dead Heat. And he was just like, he was so tickled by it. But yeah, that was such a goofy ass movie. I would like to actually check it out again. It did pop up on my Tubi feed. So since I'm on kind of a treat roll, I may have to revisit.
Yeah. On the other hand, I met Joe Piscopo once. He was having drinks with Bob Saget at the Sands Casino in Atlantic City.
That is funny. That's funny.
I shook both their hands and talked to them for a little bit. And
yeah, Bob Saget, he had a kind of a second life out there appearing on Entourage. I don't know if you've ever seen him on Entourage.
Yeah.
Just
trying to shed that Full House image. Yeah.
Oh yeah, big time.
All right. Don't forget to drop us an email at filmsoffermentation@gmail.com or visit linktree.com/filmsoffermentation. Find all of our social media podcast links. Still time to get your questions, requests, comments, and whatnot in there for the mailbag episode next week. Become part of the Films of Fermentation family. We are on the Podnation Media Network on Roku, or you can visit Substack to subscribe to our official Films of Fermentation newsletter. We're an independent podcast, which means we are listener supported. So please consider joining our Patreon for as little as $1 a month to receive members only content. That's right. For a $1 donation, you can receive my curated list of the worst movies I've ever seen. It's a long list.
You know something? For $1, I'll bet you keep that list because I don't want to see the movies.
For $1, I won't force you to watch the bad movies I have watched. We have 4 tiers. The $1 tier is general support, which gives members early access to new episodes and access to the archive of our first 3 seasons, which are now behind the paywall. For a $3 donation, you get early access. You get fan requests and member shout outs. You also get discounts on our merchandise at Teespring. For the $5 tier, bonus episodes, early access, fan requests, and shout outs on the show. I will also send you a personally signed copy of my novel if you'd like. And for the $10 a month VIP, you get bonus episodes, fan requests, general support, shout outs, and a private chat community on Patreon. You can also text us at 904-867-4466. Remember, tell me who you are when you text me. I'd really like to give people the shout out they deserve. We have poll results for last week's recast of Young Guns. Each of us came up with actors for the main cast, and it was a fun episode. The Jacked Up Review podcast on X gave us 1 vote for please don't recast. I responded with too late. We had 27 total votes, 28, but I took out the vote that I gave myself. Between X, Threads, and Instagram, I couldn't bring myself to put the poll up on Reddit because I just didn't feel like having my soul crushed this week. So the results are 8%, 8% for Mike, 14% for Kevin, and 78% for me. And I didn't even go out.
Rigged. It's rigged.
I didn't even go out and campaign. Well, Kev, I mean, one of the votes you got was from your sister, so at least you can feel good about that. What are we drinking tonight, gentlemen?
Ooh, I'll go.
Go ahead.
I am drinking one of my favorites. I've gone to my stock of Old Smokies.
All right.
And I'm drinking some Old Smoky peach whiskey tonight, boys.
Nice.
On the rise.
Peach whiskey. Yeah, what do you got going on?
Well, found this in my fridge. Don't know where it came from. It's a Cayman Jack margarita made with orange juice and agave nectar.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that my wife left that when we were over your house the other day.
Actually, I think we bought these for your wife. So,
but wasn't any of the ones that Adrian brought? She left those in her bag.
Yeah.
3.8, I guess. 3.8 alcohols by volume. Anyway, once I get that done, I'll wash it down with some American Light from Sam Adams.
Nice. Jack, we got the Kraken out again tonight?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Family recipe.
There you go. And I am attempting to drink something that I had recently. My wife and I went to a distillery in New Jersey called Wingville or something like that. I wish I could remember the name of it. Yeah, wingtail, something like that. But they had a drink there called a sarsaparilla old fashioned. It was really, really good. So I attempted to make it myself tonight. I don't have sarsaparilla, so I use root beer. So it's root beer with 2 ounces of bourbon and some bitters. And so far, so good. It doesn't taste exactly like the drink I had, but it's not bad. And for the bourbon, I gave it the old Bird Gang bourbon there, Mike.
Nice.
Oh, there you go.
Two birds.
Oh, birds. All right. So we have a long list of history facts this week. So why don't we get cracking on that?
This week in film history with Mike. This week in film history with Mike.
In 1947, perennial Christmas film Miracle on 34th Street, starring John Payne and Maureen O'Hara, directed by George Seaton, is released.
The superior of the 2 versions.
One of my favorite Christmas movies.
In 1960, Psycho, the psychological horror film directed by Alfred Hitchcock, starring Janet Leigh, Anthony Perkins, and Vera Mills, opens in New York City.
Jack, I'm
One of
assuming
my
this is a
favorite
favorite of
Christmas
yours.
movies.
I love a good slasher.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite scenes is the scene where he slashes the, I don't remember the character's name, across the face, and he falls down the steps, but the camera's following him as he
Oh
drops.
yeah,
I love that. Mike.
1963, Cleopatra, directed by Joseph
Mankiewicz.
Mankiewicz. Thank you.
Mhm.
Starring Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton, premieres in New York City. Then the most expensive film ever made.
And one of the biggest flops in Hollywood history.
1967, You Only Live Twice, the 5th James Bond, starring Sean Connery. Screenplay by Roald Dahl. Premieres in London.
Mike, you hit me with a fact I didn't know about. I never knew that the man who wrote Charlie and the Chocolate Factory wrote the screenplay for a Bond film.
Wait, is that true? Did he really just say that? Because
Yes, Raoul Dahl just wrote a screenplay for a James Bond film.
Mike is a notorious liar, though. So I mean,
This came from my sources.
I mean, Mike's the Bond movie guy, so I trust that he knows this. Which one's You Only Live Twice? Who's the villain in that one?
Uh-oh.
You know, twice. That's where he gets at the beginning. The bed goes up and shoots the bed. Yeah, it's Japan. Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess the guy with the gloves.
Oh,
to
yes.
watch this.
Yeah, yep.
I might have.
He
I
takes
might
off
have
his
to.
hand. He has a mechanical hand, right? Is that the one?
Yeah.
Okay. All
He's
right.
been burned by like radiation or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
starting to sound like Raoul Dahl.
All all the Japanese guys come, rappelling through into the volcano. Working out of yes.
I might have to watch this just because I know it's now from Raoul Dahl. Let me rewatch it.
Wow.
What's the next one that you got there, Mike?
In 1967, British film To Sir with Love, written and directed by James Cavill, and starring Sidney Poitier. It's first released in the U.S.
Yeah, not one that I'm like. I love Poitier, but it's not one that I'm familiar with.
And also in 1967, The Dirty Dozen, based on E.M. Nathanson's novel, directed by Robert Aldrich, and starring Lee Marvin, Ernest Borgnine, and Charles Bronson, is released in the U.S.
I'm definitely familiar with this movie.
Yeah.
feature film about donuts. They're all fucking powdered.
You sit on a throne of lies.
He does.
One of my favorite stories to tell people is the day of my wedding. I was getting married at 3:30 in the afternoon. It was 11 o'clock in the morning. My little sister calls me because she's frantic because my wife, who is a career procrastinator, is not getting ready.
Mm-hmm.
And, and she's all stressed out. And and yelling at my wife to get up and get dressed, and like all this stuff, all this like chaos going on in the background. She's like, "What are you doing right now?" I said, "Oh, me and Daddy are sitting on the couch watching Dirty Dozen."
And Adrian showed up and got Katie's ass in gear. So
Yeah, and I finished watching Dirty Dozen and took a shower. What's the next one you got there, sir?
1968 U.S. premiere of the horror film Rosemary's Baby, based on the best-selling novel of the same name by Ira Levin.
That's a great one.
Eyes.
1978 film Grease opened, starring John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John, based on the 1972 Broadway musical.
Yeah, I love Grease. We, my wife and I went and saw this in the theater on the 20th anniversary. They did a re-release.
I say you love Grease, but I think you love the next three, but more than Grease.
Yeah,
the 1980 musical comedy film The Blues Brothers, starring Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi, and directed by John Landis, premieres in Chicago, Illinois.
45 years later, still the best SNL film.
Definitely.
1981 Raiders of the Lost Ark, the first Indiana Jones film, directed by Steven Spielberg, starring Harrison Ford, with story by George Lucas, premieres.
I prefer Crystal Skulls.
You're full of shit.
Shame.
Excuse me while I go hide in my nuclear bomb protective refrigerator.
In 1982, E.T. the Extraterrestrial, directed by Steven Spielberg and starring Henry Thomas and Drew Barrymore, is released.
And destroyed the Things budget or box office.
Yeah, it's the same year it came out.
Yep.
It's also just a ripoff of Mac and Me.
True, very true.
A ripoff.
Oh, do I go through that again? Where was I? Okay, there I was. 1990 film Dick Tracy, directed by Warren Beatty and starring Warren Beatty and Madonna, premieres in Woodstock, Illinois.
Very underappreciated movie.
I think it gets a lot of hate. I Tracy.
That's actually one I've been wanting to revisit as well, because I've been seeing different aspects of it pop up here and there, and I haven't seen it since it came out, so it'd be kind of fun rewatch.
Yeah, I heard another podcast talking about a movie recently that William Forsythe was in, and I was like, oh yeah, and he was in Dick Tracy too. I like. Yeah, it is. I agree with Kev. I think it's an underrated film.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of underrated, Mike.
1991 Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves opens, directed by Kevin Reynolds and starring Kevin Costner and Morgan Freeman. Damn joke.
Me cleared it.
I've seen it done once on horses.
This movie is so over the top. It's batshit, but I love it, man. I love Prince of Thieves. I love Alan Rickman as the sheriff is just.
Well,
just gold, man.
I remember when it came out, and I haven't seen it since then, but I remember at the time, because I was a big fan of Princess Bride, that it felt like that movie was trying to be Princess Bride, but then it was trying to be something else. You know what I mean? And Alan Rickman he nailed it. Like he was just, and I think, who's the other character there? Not Kevin Costner, but Morgan Freeman. I thought he nailed it as well, and I thought Kevin Costner was a little lost in it all, because I don't think he really understood which way to go. But
I don't think he realized that he needed to lean into the camp a little bit.
No,
Rickman actually sat and rewrote some of his dialogue because he wanted it to be more in line with the way he was playing the character.
And his English accent was far better than that. Kevin Costner's.
It was definitely far better than Kevin Costner's. All right, here's another one I like, Mike.
Now this one's all Kevin's. 1993 Jurassic Park, directed by Steven Spielberg, starring Sam Neill and Jeff Goldblum, opens, set box office weekend record of $502 million.
I contributed to that $502 million.
I did too, at least 3 times.
Yeah.
This is I've said before. This is the movie that turned me into the cinephile that I am today. You know, like I started really studying films after seeing Jurassic Park.
Well, it's
Not
funny.
after seeing the next one.
Well,
The next one is
Were you gonna say
Kevman.
Jack?
Okay.
no, I was just gonna say
Say
between Jurassic Park when that first came out and Forrest Gump, I thought that Gary Sinise actually lost his legs and that we actually had dinosaurs running around.
Yeah, right.
Going from Ray Harryhausen world to suddenly, oh, there's dinosaurs running around. This is pretty wild. I don't think people really appreciate that so much anymore.
I appreciate it because I feel like it's gotten worse since then.
Well, no, I understand now. Looking back, sure, but I'm just talking about like when you see effects now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you don't appreciate that impact of as much as I don't think folks like ourselves back when Jurassic Park hit
Right.
had gone from like literally, wow, you're seeing literally the moon landing basically of
Like it's tough to think what will be the next effect, the next big thing in movies that make people just like, wow,
I think something that's fully AI that you can't tell that it's AI.
Probably.
You know what I mean? That you're literally watching a real movie going, wait, that's all AI.
Skynet.
Yeah, like the Bigfoot blogs on TikTok.
They're real. He just has an out now.
So the next one is Kevin's favorite Batman movie, 1997, Batman and Robin, directed by Joel Schumacher, starring George Clooney, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Chris O'Donnell, premieres in Los Angeles.
Let's put nipples on the bat suit. Let's get a good ass shot of George Clooney's in the bat butt.
Don't forget, you had Alicia Silverstone in this film too.
Well, I remember
that was the nice part of that movie.
Yeah. I remember when the nipple gate when that happened when that came out. That was a big thing. Like there was fans that were really ripped about that.
Oh,
yeah.
There's one right down there.
It's not like comic book fans are ever toxic.
No.
No. Have you ever
very
heard
open-minded, understand artistic impression, But I have to say, like, they didn't even I don't think they bothered reading a Batman comic before they made the movie.
Well, I mean,
if you're going to make Batgirl Alfred's granddaughter, his niece, his grandniece, his neighbor down the street's daughter, and you're just going to throw Mr. Freeze in there with a whole bunch of like bullshit puns.
Well, that's another one of those movies where Chris O'Donnell pretty much, I think he kind of knew like how to read the room with that script because he was definitely kind of leaning into the cheese, whereas George Clooney was just kind of, it was like watching paste, which is weird because he did Return of the Tomatoes, which is a great little one, and you think he would be kind of zoned into that, but I guess he was trying to do some more.
He's gone on to apologize multiple times for starring in the film.
I think didn't he even admit that he's the one that like single-handedly destroyed the franchise?
Yeah, or he was worried that he was. Yeah,
his shoulders. Schumacher should have taken.
But Schumacher came out before he passed away, and I think he even admitted saying that he was going back to the original like '60s. That's how he kind of saw it.
He was turning it into Adam West. Yeah. I knew that was happening the moment Val Kilmer in the previous film whipped out a credit card that said Batman on it.
Yeah.
Oh man,
drive-through. It's like so fucking commercialized, and that's why they went with Schumacher, because they wanted to sell toys, they wanted to sell product.
Right.
They didn't give a shit about the story. Tim Burton, oh, he's so dark. Penguin bit somebody's nose. No shit. That's what we need.
And now the world has the Colin Farrell penguin, and they're all happy.
Oh yeah, look, man.
Don't worry, we'll go back to the dark stuff later on in the list. So,
all right, so let's move on here.
In 2000, X-Men, first film based on the comic book series starring Patrick Stewart, Hugh Jackman, and Ian McKellen, premieres on Ellis Island, New York Harbor.
Yes, and the quality had never diminished since.
No, never.
Speaking of reviving the franchise,
should I not go into my rant?
Yeah. If anybody wants to hear Mike's rant, listen to episode 2 behind the paywall on Patreon. Go on to the next one there, sir.
2005, Batman Begins, directed by Christopher Nolan, starring Christian Bale, Michael Caine, and Katie Holmes. Goes on wide release.
And then a hero comes along with the faith to carry on what Schumacher fucked up.
Renewed Kevin's faith in Batman.
That's right.
Oh God.
Let's kill our childhood with 2007's Transformers, directed by Michael Bay, who can't have a movie without an explosion in it, and starring Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox. Premieres in Sydney. Megan Fox, though, can't have.
Thumbs.
Acting. Is that what she's doing?
Yeah.
She doesn't have to act.
I always say I used to love Megan Fox so much, man. But the minute she opened her mouth and started talking, I lost interest.
That's what they invented the mute button for it, and
yeah,
you see it all.
What's the next one I got there, sir?
2010 Toy Story 3, directed by Lee Unrich, starring Tom Hanks and Tim Allen. Premieres at the Pomona Film Festival.
Come on, don't mess it up for the Italian guy that's sitting here listening to you.
I thought I said it. Film Festival in Italy. The first animated film to reach $1 billion.
It was so good. That's got to be the best of the series.
I love Toy Story 3 is my favorite.
Toy Story 3 just breaks your heart.
It's my favorite one. That scene where they're going into the fire and they hold hands.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, man, it crushed me.
Yeah.
We didn't need another one, but hey, we got one anyway, and Mike's going to talk about it soon.
In 2012, The Amazing Spider-Man, directed by Mark Webb and starring Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone, premieres at Tokyo Film Festival.
Yep.
Wow,
Good. It's all right.
Now let's go where they
Martin Sheen and Gidget as Uncle Ben and Aunt May.
I love Gidget.
Yes, yeah. Woman's won 2 Academy Awards, but
I can't think of her name now.
Sally Field.
Sally Field.
Why
you like me? You really like me.
You should have just called her the Flying Nun while you were at it.
She just hung out with the bandit, smoking the bandit.
Put her on the map, man.
So let's go from one extreme of fucking up Batman to fucking up Superman. We're making it too dark. 2013 Superman film, The Man of Steel, directed by Zack Snyder, starring Henry Cavill and Amy Adams, premieres in New York City. Superman is not a dark fucking film, people.
Okay, so it's not Cavill's fault; it's Snyder's fault.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, because Cavill made.
I like Cavill. I thought Cavill was a good Superman.
It was just
Snyder always goes too far.
I just didn't understand why Superman had to destroy half the planet to save it.
Well, that's
he was bored.
He was bored. Yeah, him and Zod were just like punching each other through buildings and not giving a shit. I am excited to see the new one though. That the last trailer looked pretty good. And finally, is this finally? Yes, this is finally.
This is the last one. 2019 Toy Story 4, directed by Josh Cooley, with the voices of Tom Hanks and Tim Allen, has its world premiere.
I said I don't think it was necessary. I watched it. It wasn't bad. But then they're making a 5th one anyway. There's a 5th one on the way. All right, we are done with Mike's news. There's a lot going on this week. It's mostly premieres, which is fine. So let's get to some other news.
Kevin's here. He's here for a bit. He's got news. It's bigger than Kevin.
Never to be outdone by
song as I watch Mike furiously edit the next segment.
Yeah, I'm tired. It had too much in it.
Not to be outdone by Mike, I also have 22 news stories to get to.
Yeah.
I cut that down, guys. I cut that down.
Out of Coweta County in Georgia, just outside of Atlanta, Metro Atlanta parents made a dumb decision by giving 1-year-old beer, report says. Dinner date at a Coweta restaurant led to the arrest of a couple. On June 3rd, Coweta County deputies were called to the Old Chicago Pizza and Tap Room on Fisher Crossing regarding a suspicious person. When the deputy arrived, he met with the manager, who pointed out a man in the parking lot saying he was giving the baby in the back seat beer at the bar. The manager informed the deputy he had video of the incident and the baby had not been carded. The deputy made contact with the man, later identified as 34-year-old Craig Banks.
Please tell me you made that part up about the baby not being carded.
Yes, I made that part up. According to the report, Banks had a strong odor of alcohol coming from him, and the baby had a strong odor of poo coming from him. Banks told the deputy that he had been at the restaurant for about an hour. According to the report, while speaking with Banks, he asked why the deputy was talking to him, and when the deputy responded, Banks said, "My baby is one. Why the expletive would I do that?" Banks told the deputy he and his wife, identified as Peyton Gregory, 30, went to the restaurant to have one drink. The bartender said Banks ordered a 23-ounce Yingling beer. While holding the child, Gregory explained to the deputy they hadn't been drinking, and she had gave the child a sip of her tea, and she knew nothing about the child's drinking beer. However, deputy said after reviewing the video, Banks was seen waiting for the bartender to turn around and then gave the child a sip of his beer as Gregory was holding the baby, watching and laughing. The ending result being that the baby had to take a breathalyzer. According to the report, it happened about 6 times. Each time the bartender turned around. Gregory gave the baby to the father to get a chair and continued to give the child beer, authority said.
Oh my
Once
God.
Gregory came back with the chair, Banks put the child in the chair, looked over to see if anyone was looking, and then continued to give the child beer out of his glass as the child's mother was still watching and laughing, according to the report. Deputy said Gregory was seen on video laughing the whole time. Banks was giving the kid beer after telling officers she didn't think about it. Deputies went back outside and arrested Banks. When deputies asked Gregory about the incident, she said she wasn't thinking and made a dumb decision. She told deputies that the child turned 1 last month, and that was her way of celebrating. She was them.
I'm in danger.
Both parents were charged with contributing to the delinquency of a minor. They were booked into the Coweta County Jail. The child was turned over to the care of the grandparents, who decided to give the child liquor instead.
You corned beef drinking motherfucker.
They dropped all charges when they found out the baby was Herman from Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
My stogie.
No, it was not me, and I was not giving beer to Nolan. I swear.
Nolan only drinks booze.
That's right. Yeah, I saw that desk disappear for a bit, didn't I?
I'm still looking for it.
What's next, sir?
Highway reopens after crash involving semi-truck carrying beer. These are the sad stories I hate to report, gentlemen.
It is. It reopened 24 hours later after everybody sobered up.
A rollover crash involving a semi-truck hauling cases of beer left quite a mess in Bono. Jonesboro, Craighead County, East 911 reported the crash happened around 10 p.m. Wednesday, June 11th, at the intersection of Highway 63 and Highway 63B. The highway did not reopen until after 7:30 a.m. on June 12th. Arkansas State Police Trooper Josh Landreth told K8 News on the scene that a semi-truck carrying cases of beer overturned at the intersection and slid into a traffic light, dumping its load of beer cans on the side of the road. Landreth said that the driver was taken to the hospital with minor injuries. No other vehicles were involved. Jonesboro E911 initially reported that the crash involved a tanker truck hauling gas. And that's that. That's a short one, but thank God it wasn't gas and it was only America's favorite beverage.
Did any of that beer have a persistent head?
You and your persistent head.
Mike, you have any must-try beer or craft destinations for us tonight?
Oh, must try beer. This is a white. It is Anger Weiss. It's from Germany. It is a well-regarded, authentic Bavarian dark Weizen, known for its complex flavor profile. It is a medium-bodied beer with a creamy texture and a balance of fruity, yeasty, and malty notes. It is described as having flavors of banana, clove, and a hint of bubblegum, along with toasted bread and caramel, according to wine enthusiasts. Many reviewers consider it a delicious and balanced beer, highlighting its complexity and refreshing finish. Your Weiss is a very successful double act between the freshness of the wheat and the hefty of dark malt. Amber colored and cloudy initial aromatics impressions are clear aromas of malt. The palate is fruity, then dry, while the bitterness is very smooth to the finish.
Banana, clove, bubblegum, bread, and caramel.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So
This is a barnyard.
No barnyard funk. We're going to take a quick break. Here's some words from Podnation Media Network, and then we'll be back with our main segment, one of our favorite segments, Films That Time Forgot, with our buddy Cthulhu Jack.
Yep.
Hey, movie lovers. This is Leo.
Mike.
And Kevin from Films and Fermentation.
If you love comedy, movies, and a good drink in hand, then you need to check out the Podnation Media Network.
It's home to a variety of amazing podcasts covering everything from pulp culture to history, and of course, movies like ours.
And the best part, Podnation Media Network is featured on Roku, so you can stream your favorite podcasts anytime.
Alongside Films and Fermentation, you'll find other fantastic shows like the KJ&A podcast, The Undiscovered Entrepreneur, Real Sharks, and so many more.
So grab a drink, press play, and join the fun with Podnation Media Network.
Because everything's better with a little comedy, movies, and booze.
Learn more by going to linktree.com/PodNationPods. Yeah, I definitely knew I wasn't getting back before the commercial ended. Hey, everybody. Thank you for sticking with us after that quick little word from our Podnation Media Network. We are here with our main segment tonight, one of our favorite segments, part 11 in our series of Films That Time Forgot, with the return of Cthulhu Jack, our first 3-time guest on the podcast. What did you say earlier, Jack? You're reaching those Steve Martin levels of SNL hosting?
I'm aiming for that. Yeah, I think he's got like.
You stick with us 5 times, we get you a smoker's jacket.
Exactly.
Well, you got the permanent link now, Jack. Anytime you want to pop one and surprise us, well, you record every Thursday night. So tonight we're going to talk about some films that time forgot, and how we normally do this is we each take turns describing our film in vague terms and try to guess what the film is that we chose for this evening. And then we have a little added feature that we started doing the last time around called Wine or Milk. And that is, did this film that we chose age like a fine wine, or is it kind of white and chunky? So we'll see how that goes after this. So anybody want to volunteer to go first this evening?
Oh, I'll go first this time if you want.
You want to go first this time, Jack?
Sure.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Well, since you brought up Young Guns earlier, I figured why not toss in another Western. Ooh. This is a vampire neo-Western about a drifter joining a nomadic blood-sucking clan. Despite critical acclaim, it's less known than The Lost Boys.
This is Near Dark.
Yes, it is. Near Dark by Catherine Bigelow from 1987.
Wow.
See, I knew you guys would get one.
I love Near Dark. I'm not. It's definitely one that I've seen.
A good one.
I know the description well, and yeah, it's Bill Paxton, baby. I know this film.
Yeah, the whole Aliens crew is in it. You know,
Lance Hendrickson.
It's a great film.
Yeah.
John B.
Go ahead.
What
else you got to say, sir? Go ahead. I ruined it by jumping in so early, but
oh, you know what's crazy? I don't know if you know this, but I mean, they have since put out obviously Blu-ray and stuff like that. But back in the early 2000s, which I still have, is they put out a fancy double disc set, and so you watch the movie, then there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff. But then at the end, it's really sad because Adrian Pasdar, who plays the main character Caleb, he actually looks at the camera for about, I don't know, it's several minutes, but he actually puts out a plea because I guess Jenny Wright had disappeared, who played his co-star. And, she did I, Madman and this and a couple other things. But that's it. She basically disappeared all through the 90s and 2000s. And by the early 2000s, he put out a plea basically asking, I hope you're okay, this, that, and the other thing. And it was really kind of an emotional bit. And then I noticed that probably about 10 years after that is when she kind of just popped up out of nowhere and she started doing the convention circuit again. But yeah, it was a very strange kind of moment after seeing the film, after all those years.
No, I remember this film well as a kid. This was one of those movies where I would go to like Blockbuster or West Coast Video or one of those places, and I would see the VHS box, and it was that image of Bill Paxton with like the half burned face, just like sneering at the camera, and I'm like, I remember as a kid being, man, I don't know what this is, but this looks really crazy. And then like kind of watching it later when I got a little older and being like, oh yeah, this is my kind of camp, man. I love this. It's my kind of movie.
I collect vintage posters, mainly a lot of foreign stuff. And so I actually found it's an oversized poster. I'd say it's probably about, I don't know, like 4 feet by 3 feet. I mean, it's huge. And it's like
is that like a theater?
Yeah, it's like
a theater prop.
It have to be like an inside piece to show, but it was an Italian. I think if I'm not mistaken, it's Italian, and it's a painting of Bill Paxton. Half obviously in gore and half not. There's and I don't know where I'm going to hang it, or how am I even going to frame it. But it's just such a beautiful piece. When I found it, I was like, well, I've got to have this. And then when it showed up and how big it was, I was like, dear Lord.
Like it's definitely a film that I would say is a film that time forgot. Not a film that I forgot because I'm pretty certain I may have watched this not too long ago either. Like, I watched so many movies, it's hard for me to remember sometimes, but here, this is the poster I was talking about. This is the one that was on the box in the Blockbuster. It's Bill Paxton, half burned. There's like light shining through the bullet holes in his body.
Oh yeah.
Near Dark, Pray for Daylight. Taken only kill you once, but they can terrify you forever.
And you want to talk about a great shootout scene? That shootout when they're having to dodge the light beams coming in through the motel room. Some of the most ingenious stuff in that movie, by the way.
Yeah,
dealing with vampires.
80s, baby, 80s.
And you knew they were going to do supposedly. Paxton and Lance Henriksen had written a prequel, which was where Lance had found. This is after the Civil War, where obviously his character mentions about himself being, bitten during the Civil War, and it would be their adventure and how he found Paxton's character and so on and so forth. And I guess that was circling for a long time and just never got made, which is kind of a shame because I think that would have been awesome.
Yeah. No, that's
pull kind of a Highlander thing, where he kind of goes through time in the first movie where you see bits and pieces of him. If they had done something like that, would have been just pretty wild.
Yeah, I would definitely have been in on that, man. That's a good pull, man. That's a good first one there, Jack. Sorry I guessed it so soon.
Yeah, I got others.
I had to say, like, I was like, at some point I would have to be able to figure one of them out. And that's definitely right up my alley, man. So I'm gonna go next because I have two. So I'll do one of them now, and I have a feeling like if you're able to give me Near Dark as a choice, I have no doubt you're gonna guess my first film.
Oh,
okay.
So this film came out in 1991, right on the cusp of the 90s. It actually feels like an 80s film. It's so early in the 90s. It is directed by Wes Craven. Who we know as the creator of Nightmare on Elm Street.
It's not the Children Under the Stairs, is it?
Yeah, it's the People Under the Stairs. I knew it was coming, man. As soon as I said Wes Craven, you got it right.
I was trying to remember how many movies he did in that time period. That's the only one that leapt to mind.
Yeah, so the People Under the Stairs stars Everett McGill, Ving Rhames, AJ Langer, and Brandon Hugh Adams. The only name there probably anybody could recognize is probably Ving Rhames.
Right.
AJ Langer is probably best known for playing Claire Danes' best friend in My So-Called Life, which is where I knew her from. The movie is Fool, played by Brandon Q. Adams, who is the pitcher in The Sandlot. Fool breaks into the home of his family's landlords. He discovers that they have mutilated several boys and are keeping them imprisoned under the stairs. As Fool attempts to flee, he meets the daughter, Alice, and Fool and Alice put together a plan to try and escape. That's the IMDb synopsis for the film. People Under the Stairs is the story of a young boy from the ghetto. It takes place on his 13th birthday. He attempts a burglary along with two other guys to invade his family's evil landlord's home. The landlords are played by Everett McGill and what's the actress's name? Kelly Jo Minter, who actually played husband and wife in Twin Peaks as well. And they call each other mommy and daddy in the film, but it's alluded to the fact that they're probably brother and sister as well. It's like one of those
all their bases.
Yeah. And they have these children that they torture and trap under the stairs in their home. And as Fool and the daughter Alice try to escape, they discover the kids and they help them, escape in the end and all that. It was a mild hit. It had a $6 million budget and grossed $31 million worldwide, which is pretty good for a low-budget horror film from the early 90s. Wes Craven said he was inspired to write the film by a real-life news story about burglars breaking into a house and finding children locked up inside. Shortly before his death, Wes Craven was developing a TV version of the film for the Sci-Fi Channel. As of 2023, they were still trying to make the remake, but nothing happened. And Hilary Swank auditioned for a role in the film, but did not get it. Tagline for the film: in every neighborhood, there is one house that adults whisper about and children cross the street to avoid. Now, Wes Craven, creator of A Nightmare on Elm Street, takes you inside. Oh, I forgot to ask you, Jack, Near Dark, did it age like wine or milk?
Oh, wine. I mean, that movie, I feel like it never gets old. I always find there's new things to discover with it. I mean, yeah, no,
that is a vintage Pinot Noir.
Yeah, definitely. I'll be reviewing that on my show at some point. That's definitely my cue.
I love Near Dark. Yeah, but this film anyway, People Under Stairs. I rewatched it recently. I remember watching it a lot when I was a kid. On the rewatch, I have to say it was still kind of entertaining. Everett McGill is just unhinged in it. He's really fun to watch. But man, it is definitely a milk film. It is not. It did not age very well.
Yeah.
I had no doubt, Jack, you were going to get that one.
Yeah, I'd like to see that again, actually, too, because it's that and like Cronenberg's The Brood are two movies that I saw originally a year, obviously 150 years ago, and those are two that keep kind of haunting me that I should go back and revisit, even if they are.
You a fan of Nightbreed?
Which version? There's a director's cut they did, which I saw that. I the first time I saw it, I did not like it as much as I had liked the book. But when I went back and rewatched the director's cut, I actually thought it was better. And the same with Lord of Illusion. That's another one that I'm kind of like hit or miss with.
I only thought of it because when you mentioned Cronenberg, like David Cronenberg is the villain in Nightbreed.
Yeah, no, I liked him in that.
Yeah, and I'm a Clive Barker fan too, so I jumped on this one when I first heard about it. Okay, so we'll go to either Mike or Kevin then for the next one.
Well, Mike has toted that his is really good, so let's leave his for last.
Okay, we'll leave it.
I'm excited,
and we'll go with Kevin's then.
We'll go with mine. Mine might be a giveaway too quickly, so I don't want that to be.
Wait, is it a romantic comedy?
It is not a romantic comedy.
Oh, not a romantic comedy. Okay.
No, it is a comedy though, from 1989.
When Harry Met Sally.
Directed by Howard Zieff.
Okay.
A critic had said that the movie seemed to have been inspired by One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Some of the lesser-known actors and actresses in the movie include James Remar, Philip Bosco, Dennis Boutsikaris, and Lorraine Bracco. Those are some of the lesser-known names in this movie. I'm going to go into the main cast, which is going to be the dead giveaway. So
Does the main cast have Michael Keaton in it?
It dodoes.
Not clean over.
It's God,
that's not a comedy.
It's they're mental patients who escape, right?
Kind of.
It's him. It's Christopher Lloyd.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember the actors in it. I can't remember the name of the film.
There are two more.
All I keep thinking of is The Awakening, and it ain't that.
No.
That'd be great if just Awakening. Oh my God. I keep one. Yeah, Peter Boyle's in it. DeVito in it too?
Not DeVito, but a actor from Animal House.
Wait, you said it's 89. It's not Gun Ho, is it? No, that's early.
Gun Ho.
No, that was right after Mr. Mom.
Yeah.
I keep wanting to say Disorderlies, but I think that's a Fat Boys movie.
That is a Fat Boys movie.
The name of this movie, 3 years later, was used for the Olympic team of the U.S.'s basketball team.
The Dream Team?
The Dream Team.
Oh,
the movie.
Remember the box art now. They're all standing there. Yep.
Yeah, I remember the box art too. Yeah.
God, I even saw that movie in the theater and
Oh, wow.
Total blank. Well, I worked in the movie theaters as well, so I just par for the course.
I was looking through some things because you had mentioned Gung Ho, and I was going through some of the movies of the time that I liked to remembering Michael Keaton, and I was like, wait, the Dream Team, and going and then watching it again, I was like, this is good,
This is like kind of a slow period for Keaton. I think it was like,
was it?
This was to build up. This was to build up his starring in Batman, which was coming out later.
Yeah. because it was like right after this Batman came out, and then he took off again.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think it was like between this and like Mr. Mom Gung Ho, there was like a couple like stinkers in the middle, like Johnny Dangerously, like right in the middle there.
Well, then he did Clean and Sober, which is a fantastic film, but not a comedy.
Yeah, I don't think too many people took him too seriously as a dramatic actor at that point.
No,
because they knew him so well from the comedy films. It was after Batman and and a couple other films that he was looked at a little bit more as somebody who can do the drama. Like if you watch later films like Spotlight and Birdman, like he's an amazing actor.
Mm-hmm.
But Dream Team. I got the box art up here. Is it?
Yeah.
Go ahead,
I remember that vividly, but not the movie.
Yeah.
So you have the 4, mental patients. One's who has issues with rage. The other who is he believes he is the coming of Christ. Then you have Christopher Lloyd's character who is too anal, too obsessive compulsive and has to have everything a certain way. And then you have the last one, which is what's the actor's name?
There he is.
Faust. Right, that's it. Stephen First, who is a mute with the exception of being able to talk in baseball lingo, And their therapist takes him out from the insane asylum to a baseball game, actually being there, and on their way back, was it even before they get there? They have to stop because one of the patients has to go to the bathroom. He accidentally witnesses a murder. The therapist gets knocked unconscious and taken to the hospital, and then the patients are kind of left of their own. And they say, if we contact the cops, they're going to think, we did it. We're going to get in trouble. And, they don't get along, so they argue and they just kind of go their own way. And it's a murder mystery, but not really a mystery. It's kind of just like the action, but the comedy to it as well. So,
wow.
Yeah, I had to look up Stephen First. I know I knew him from something you said.
Flounder.
Yeah, he's
Flounder.
Fat, drunk, and stupid is no way to go through life, son.
Hello.
All right. So, Mike, do you want to try yours now, or should I do my second one, or what?
Give me 1 second. I'm having technical difficulties.
Wait, did I take yours, Mike? Was you going to do the Dream Team?
No, I was not. My tablet is locked up on me. So
okay. Well,
I'm back up and running now.
We're good.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Do you want to go then?
I'll go.
All right.
Okay, mine is the 1989 classic.
Another 89 film.
Directed by John Irvin.
Mm-hmm.
It has stars such as Ted Levine, Michael J. Pollard, Ben Stiller, Bill Paxton.
Wait, what year?
89.
Okay.
Stiller.
Andreas Katsalis, Helen Hunt, Adam Baldwin, Liam Neeson,
Jesus,
and Patrick Swayze.
I'm sorry, what type of film is it? What genre?
It's a drama.
I was going to say, with all those actors and actresses, probably 40. What was that movie we saw? Like 42, 48?
Movie 33. It's definitely not movie 43. Helen Hunt. Patrick Swayze, 1989.
Ben Stiller.
Ben Stiller. Like, I'm trying to, like,
Liam Neeson.
Like, where the hell did this movie come from?
Michael J. Pollard, Ted Levine, Andreas Katsalis.
What is?
It's not Rob Roy, is it?
No.
No, that was
93, I think.
That was 93, and that was Jessica Lange, I think, in that film at Liam Neeson.
Yeah, it was.
I can give you the small synopsis they have here.
Yeah, give me a synopsis.
Truman, a Chicago cop, sets out to find the killer of his brother. Meanwhile, another brother, Briar, decides to find the killer himself.
Wow, that couldn't be any more vague. Sounds like every other, thriller. Jesus.
Let's put it this way. Originally, Patrick Swayze's character is from the mountains.
Oh, Point Break.
No.
Oh.
Point Break, Roadhouse, Albuquerque, Spoon. I could do that too.
I think I got Lee again. And I might got Jack.
Yeah, I'm just completely drawn a blank on this one, and it's kind of tragic because you got a great cast.
Does it have?
Who's the director?
Mel Brooks.
John Irvin.
That doesn't even help. John Irvin.
Written by Michael Jennings.
I think the Ben Stiller threw me off because he was like a kid.
Yeah. Had the word kin in the title.
It did.
Oh, Next of Kin. Is that what
There
you
he is.
Yeah.
Woo! I
It was
remember
the
that
mountain.
movie too,
It was the
but
mountain. Everything until you got to the mountain part had me thrown. Once you said he came from the mountains, I had a vague recollection of the poster.
Yeah, and I remember the poster now, Next of Kin, but geez, wow.
That was going to be my next guess.
Yeah. This is
I'm gonna take that as a stump, though, guys.
yeah, it's pretty much a stump. I'm not going to say like.
Wait,
I
is that
guessed
you
it.
said it's a drama? Is that a Western as well, or no?
No, it's a cop drama.
It is a cop drama. Okay.
Bill Paxton is the younger brother who gets killed by the mob, who's trying to take over cigarette routes or whatever in
okay.
Chicago. And
It's a movie poster, Bill Paxton night.
yeah,
I know.
and
Here it is.
that's the one.
There it is. Okay, yeah, remember that.
I mean, they're all very young in this movie. I mean, I'm like, Baldwin is the number 2 of the mob under Andreas. But Ben Stiller is the mob boss's son. So,
jeez. Yeah, that's one that time forgot for sure.
and I just finished watching it before the night, and it didn't. It's still not. It needs to be updated. Let's put it that way. But
So
as storyline goes, it's still a good story, and the acting's still solid. But you still see, they got the radios and
so between wine and milk, is it kind of like a cream wine?
yeah, it's kind of like a green wine. What I did though is when I was watching it and watching Helen Hunt's character, who's a violin teacher, go down to the boonies, I went, that's my wife going out to Altoona seeing my mom's side of the family.
This came out the same year as Roadhouse, which is probably why it's a little overshadowed.
Probably.
And a year after Dirty Dancing, so this is like
The trifecta.
Yeah.
Pain don't hurt.
Oh, I forgot to ask you, Kev. Did the Dream Team age like wine or milk?
Oh, wine. You can watch that, dude. It Buster Poindexter makes a whole video that includes some of the characters from it. It brings us back to doing the dinosaur. Remember? Boom, boom.
I mean, you're
is a 5.9 out of 10.
you have me at Buster
IMDb.
Poindexter.
But it is on
man.
Pluto right now if you want to watch that.
On Pluto.
Yes, it's TV.
He's on Pluto. Jack, do you have any other ones for tonight that you want to try?
Oh, I got. Yeah, sure. I'll pick
All
one.
right, let's hear one more from you, and I'll do my next one.
All right. So this one, let's see. All right. This one, I'll give you the character actors that are in it. We got Ving Rhames, another Ving Rhames appearance. I got a Jason Alexander appearance.
Oh.
Eric LaSalle. And then Pruitt Taylor Vince. Do you know who Pruitt Taylor Vince is?
No.
He was in Constantine. He was the priest, and he's also in a brand new movie you guys just mentioned earlier.
Oh, he's got the crazy eyes.
He's Superman's dad in the new Superman movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's got those eyes like they dance. They
Oh, yeah.
watch the pupils. They go back and forth. Okay, so Eric
This is from 1990. I'm sorry. Danny Aiello's in it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And
1990. Ving Rhames, Jason Alexander,
Eric LaSalle from ER.
Is it Coming to America?
No. Adrian Lyne is the director. Would you like the synopsis?
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
Synopsis, okay. A Vietnam vet experiences haunting visions.
That's the synopsis.
The psychological masterpiece bombed initially, but gained a cult following for its mind-bending narrative.
It's not Jacob's Ladder, is it?
Yes, it is. Jacob's
All right. See,
Wow.
yeah. If you had said Danny Aiello and Tim Robbins, I had it.
Oh, I thought I mentioned Danny Aiello.
No, you said Eric LaSalle, Jason Alexander.
Oh yeah, Prutero Vince. Yeah,
Prutero Vince, and Ving Rhames. Like that was,
the Jason Alexander always throws people off.
Yeah, I'm like
He's
Jason Alexander. I saw Jacob's Ladder a few times. I don't remember Jason Alexander at all.
Well, he had hair is the problem.
Yeah.
Guys.
This must have been coming right off of that McDonald's commercial he did. This is, it is a mind bender of a movie, man.
Yeah, this I love those movies. I remember seeing it when it came out, and I've seen it I don't know how many times since. It's just a fascinating film. And let's see, I can't remember. This is Rubin. What was his name? Yeah, Bruce Joel Rubin. Yeah, so he wrote this in Ghost, and so I have the screenplay from this, and which is great. And what's kind of cool is the screenplay. They definitely cut out stuff that's not in the movie. And they also cut out, or they do have stuff that's not in the movie, but you can find on the disc as well. So there's a lot of little behind the scenes stuff. This movie never gets old for me. It's definitely wine.
I have to rewatch this. I haven't watched this in a while. Like the images that are in my head are like the faces of the doctors, like spinning real fast, spewing, and all the demon imagery. And
well, one of the greatest lines is, Louis, did anybody ever tell you look like a cherub? And he's looking up at his chiropractor who's glowing.
It's the man.
There's Nolan.
Little dude.
What's up, bud?
Hi, guys.
What's up, Nolan, man?
Cthulhu. This is Nolan Cthulhu.
Hello, Nolan.
He doesn't typically look like that all the time, but
What's Nolan's movie tonight?
Movie that time forgot.
Yeah.
Look who's talking now.
Look who's talking. Yeah, that's a
Baby Geniuses.
What's
up, bud?
I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean to interrupt you. This is
the time of the show where we get distracted by the baby. So we were talking about Jacob's Ladder, and there's a podcast I listen to that has this running joke where any time the movie has a really like incoherent plot, they call it the Jacob Ladder situation.
I don't think Jacob's Ladder has incoherent plot.
I don't think it has incoherent plot either, but I think they use it as like a way of saying like, oh, I think it was all just like he was dead the whole time.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I think is fascinating about that film too, is that by the time you get to the end of it, you're like, wait, what? No way. And then it's one of those movies you could walk out of the theater and it just kind of keeps replaying in your mind. And as the more you think about it, you're like, Jesus, this is kind of wild, Yeah.
That was a good pull, Kev. I didn't even come close to thinking of that till, the description. Did you see Jack, did you see the remake in 2019?
Wait, they made a remake?
There's a remake of Jacob's Ladder, 2019. After his brother returns from war, Jacob struggles to maintain his sanity, plagued by hallucinations and flashbacks. Singer rapidly falls apart, blah, blah, blah. It stars Michael Ealy and Jesse Williams. It was not good. It currently sits as a 3.6 out of 10 on IMDb, so that's all you got to know about it.
Hey, at least
it's like half of what the. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
At least mine was 5.9.
Yeah, like Jacob's Ladder 1990
7.4,
a 7.4 out of 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
That seems about accurate. I think 7.4 out of 10. Yeah, that's a really good one, man. I haven't seen that in so long.
Well, yeah, you get the whole dance sequence where the devil shows up.
Yeah. So, what's up, bud? At least he's not trying to eat your microphone tonight, Kev.
That's true.
Or do his pterodactyl impression.
Do his pterodactyl impression, yeah. So my next movie then, this is a kind of a 180 from Jacob's Ladder. Mine is a romantic comedy. My second film. It is from 1992. Or not, I'm sorry. Let me scratch that. It is from 1982.
Okay.
Yeah, from 1982. I'm getting a little blurry from the bourbon. Directed by Blake Edwards.
10?
No, that was the 70s, wasn't it? 10?
I don't know.
I think it was the 70s. Yeah, that was Dudley Moore and Bo Derek.
Yeah.
No, this one is 1982, directed by Blake Edwards. Stars. I'll start from the bottom of the cast list and move my way up to like the 1 and 2 on the call sheet. John Rhys Davies, Leslie Ann Warren, Alex Karras, Robert Preston, James Garner, and the star Julie Andrews. I love this film. This is I haven't rewatched this one for the night, but I don't need to. Would you like a synopsis?
Yes, please.
Please.
A struggling female soprano in 1934 Paris finally finds work after posing as a female impersonator, but it complicates
Victoria.
Victor Victoria, yes.
That's a great film. I haven't seen that
I
in a long
love this
time.
movie. Love this movie
Kevin's
so much.
on fire tonight.
Yeah, Kevin's doing good, man. I imagine this was one like your mom like.
Yeah, absolutely.
This was one for me.
She's the one that plays Victoria, right?
Yeah. So Victoria is a woman pretending to be a man, pretending to be a woman.
Right.
And,
I forgot how funny that movie is.
I love this movie, and so my thing was when I was in high school, I starred in Music Man. I played the Harold Hill character, which is best known as Robert Preston's role in the Music Man film from the 60s. So I loved Robert Preston. I loved him from the Music Man. And so when I saw this movie for the first time, I think it was my first experience seeing Robert Preston in something other than the Music Man. Because I was young and loving him in this film. He's playing a gay man was pretty like a big move for an actor in the early 80s like that.
Oh, yeah.
And he's hilarious in it. He's so funny. Julie Andrews is amazing. It's got some great music in it. James Garner is a gangster who falls in love with Victoria, but is struggling because he thinks Victoria is actually Victor, and so he's not sure about what that means about him, that he's falling in love with who he thinks is a man.
Right.
But is relieved when he finds out she's actually a woman. Like it's a great. I haven't watched it in a while, but I don't really have to. I've seen it so many times. It's a
good movie, and it's a good movie that Julie Andrews is in. That's overshadowed by all the other great movies she's in.
Oh yeah. I mean, this is 20 years or so after Sound of Music and all that, but yeah, it's a great role. This is Robert Preston's only Oscar nomination in his entire career was for this film.
No kidding.
Yep.
No one wants the headset.
I love the tag.
He's going to take your spot. No one's going to take your spot one of these days.
See you, bud. As he has to reestablish his microphone and everything now. The tagline for the movie is he or isn't she? And before anybody asks, this is wine.
Okay.
This is champagne. This is a great movie. So that's all I had for tonight. I had two prepared.
Yeah.
She was in her late 40s at this point too, and she doesn't.
Yeah.
She looks amazing.
She looks amazing. You would think you would think it was the same decade as Mary Poppins and all that. So
Yeah, no, I mean,
Did you just call her Mary Poppins?
Mary Poppins, Mary Poppins, y'all.
She's Mary Poppins, y'all.
Yeah, it's on playing on Plex right now, I guess, is what I see. It pops up.
Victor Victoria, yeah. It's also on the Canopy app that I had mentioned earlier. Jack, do you have any other ones you want to throw at us before we wrap it up for tonight?
Let's see. Should I do a foreign one or should I do? No, I won't do it.
I'm out.
Is it a Korean film? Because I can do that.
I speak Korean.
Let's see. All right, so this one is from 1990 as well. I think we're sticking to the 90s and late 80s this week. All right, here's a go. This is a good one for you. All right, I'll give you some of the background cast. We got Lemmy. He's in it. Lemmy, yep, from Motorhead. We got Iggy
Motorhead?
Pop. Yep. Let's see. We got John Lynch and William Hootkins, and that's probably about it for background characters.
John Lynch is like acting in this film. You're saying
John Lynch is acting in this film. Yeah, he plays a sidekick character. Yeah. If I give you the director, it'll definitely give it away.
Okay.
So let's see. Maybe I can give you some. So give you a little trivia. Let's see.
Would the synopsis give it away?
Let's see. A self-repairing killer robot in a post-apocalyptic world. Its stylish, low-budget grit and artistic edge make it a cult classic.
Self-repairing robot. It's a 1990 film.
Yes.
Bicentennial Man.
I think it was 94. No. Everybody keeps telling me to see that movie, and I just cringe at the thought because I remember the poster vividly.
Oh, man.
I'm trying to think of a good trivia, but there's nothing really jumping out at me.
Damn.
It's not a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie, is it?
Cyborg?
Have me thinking of Cyborg, yeah.
That's a good one, though. Originally, it was supposed to be Bill Paxton as the main character, and Jeffrey Cohen.
Is it Kurt Russell as the main character?
No, he's not. I can give you the main character.
Sure.
Main character is Dylan McDermott and Stacey Travis are the two main leads.
Dylan McDermott, we just oh no, I'm thinking of Dermot Mulroney. I always get Dylan
McDermott. Dirty Steve.
Dirty Steve. Yeah, I always get McDermott and Mulroney mixed up.
Dermot, Leo.
Yeah.
Kev, no one. Kev, tonight. Usually you're picking him.
Yeah, I know.
He was all over him.
Not getting this one.
Yeah, this one's not.
If you gave us the main actors, you said, you said I would get it if you gave me the main actors. That's not helping me.
And he said you get it if you got the director.
If I got the director. Who's the director?
Okay. Richard Stanley.
That don't help me either.
He directed Color Out of Space, a Lovecraftian film.
Oh, the most recent movie starring Kevin's favorite actor, Nick Cage.
Effing Cage.
Pickleless Cage.
Pickleless Cage. Yeah, I actually like Color Out of Space. Yeah, I don't have this.
No.
It's called Hardware.
Hardware. I looked at Hardware. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't think I've seen this one.
Really?
No, I have not seen this one.
Oh man, do yourself a favor. Yeah, it's unfortunately it doesn't look like it's streaming anywhere. They just came out with a Blu-ray not too long ago. Yeah, this is a fantastic movie. I remember when this came out the first time I had seen it. It's actually, there was some hubbub about it because a lot of it resembles an early comic book that had come out a few years earlier. So they got sued after the movie came out because of supposedly copyright infringement. Mm-hmm. But Stanley he did another movie after this called Dust Devil, which is kind of in the same world. But yeah, no, this movie's fantastic. It's very creepy. Takes place in one apartment other than just kind of the opening bits and pieces. Made for no money. And the soundtrack is awesome. It's got, I mean, everybody's on it. So, and Lemmy's your cab driver. So, when you get Lemmy as your cab driver, you're pretty much going to hell.
I'm looking at it. Yeah, it says we got John Lynch as Shades. Iggy Pop as the voice of Angry Bob.
Yep. Yeah, he's a DJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been interesting to see if they had Jeffrey Combs playing Shades and then Bill Paxton playing Moses. Would have been an interesting dynamic.
Yeah. Head of a cyborg reactivates, rebuilds itself, and goes on a violent rampage in a Space Marine's girlfriend's apartment.
Good stuff.
Yeah, this seems like a good kind of camp. This has like
camp in this movie. I mean,
this has the near dark vibes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Says you can rent it and buy it on Amazon. I am not a fan of the rent and buy on Amazon when I already own Amazon Prime. So
yes,
I use your alternative methods, Leo.
I'll use those little old, dark web methods and find it somewhere. But okay, yeah, I'm going to put that on my list of films that Jack has suggested that I have to find time to watch.
Add to the pile.
Yeah, adding it to the pile. Oh man! So, Mike, give me beer trivia history this evening for us.
I do. Van Heffenstein, located in Van Heffenstein Abbey, and what is now part of the district of Freising in Bavaria, Germany, is said to be the oldest continually operating brewery in the world. It's been making beer since at least 1040
a.m. We have a cinema quote of the week.
There'll always be in England, even if it's in Hollywood. That's from Bob Hope.
All right.
Never would have gotten that.
Yeah. Nope. How are our drinks this evening?
Well, since I've had a triple now, I think I'm doing pretty good. The drink is good too.
Things are pretty good. I'll keep them around, I think.
If anything, at least for when my wife comes over. Right? My sarsaparilla old fashioned wasn't bad. It wasn't as good as the one I had at the distillery I was at recently, but I kind of like the root beer bourbon mix a little bit. It's got a nice little like sweet and sour to it.
Okay.
And I'm assuming Jack enjoys the homebrew there, right? The Kraken.
Oh yeah. Had a little sip during break.
Yeah, so Jack, thanks again for dropping by tonight. We always appreciate when you come by.
I always love hanging out with you guys.
Thanks for like almost showing us your face tonight. Do you have anything going on, or you want to like at least like tell people where they can find you, all that stuff?
Yeah, you could just find me at Cthulhu Jack Presents on YouTube, at Cthulhu Jack for bite-sized movie reviews, and I have another one coming soon.
Forward to it. Really enjoy them. I told you before, I love the tentacle reviews you do at the end now.
Thank you. Yeah, I just I'm glad that kind of took off. It was
I know you gave Phantom 7 out of 10. I probably would have given it about an 8. I love the Phantom.
There's sometimes I'm kind of torn because I don't know the way you all review stuff. Typically what I usually do and I never mentioned this on the channel, but usually I do it by genre. It's not, if I give something an 8, it's not like an 8 out of everything. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's just too tough for me to try to narrow that down because it'd probably be a lot lower than if I was going against, I don't know, something else.
Yeah.
But so I try to keep it within the genre itself. So yeah, I mean, I was like 7, 8, kind of fighting it a little bit. But I
deserves an 8 just for the purple outfit that Billy Zane has to wear.
Hey, you got to say the guy looked pretty ripped. I mean, he definitely
he was not embarrassed to wear it. I'll give him that.
No.
Excellent.
No, he wore it all the time for everything I was reading. I was like, he basically kept it on all the time. He wanted to make sure that he did a lot of his own stunts. You know,
I mean, if I was in that kind of great shape, I'd probably want to show it off too. So
exactly.
All right, thank you everybody for joining us tonight for episode 198, part 11 in our Films That Time Forgot series with our good friend Cthulhu Jack. We hope you enjoyed listening to the podcast as much as we enjoyed recording it for you. Remember, you can drop us an email at filmsandfermentation@gmail.com. Visit linktree.com/filmsandfermentation. Find all of our social media podcast links. You can text us at 904-867-4466. There's still time to get some comments and all in for our next episode, which will be a mailbag episode. So don't forget to stop by the Crossroads between Pickled and Fermented for episode 199, our first ever mailbag episode. I have a lot of comments and questions and stuff already, like kind of put aside for that episode. So it should be really fun. And coming Thursday, June 26th, it's going to be our 200th episode. Spectacular. We are going to be doing a live feed that night. So stay tuned for the link when I send it out. You'll be able to join us in a live chat for that show that evening. We're going to be talking about our we had done earlier a Mount Rushmore episode where we picked out our 4 Mount Rushmore directors. This time around, we're going to be doing our Mount Rushmore of movies by our Mount Rushmore of directors. So that should be an interesting conversation that night. So thanks again for joining us, everybody. I'm Leo.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Cthulhu Jack.
This has been the Films and Fermentation Podcast. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers.